welcome to video 3. This video is going to cover the installation of recessed lighting and accent lighting from my stone wall in a 2-story house, and we are on the first floor. So I've done a lot of recessed lighting work in other houses, but I've never worked on the first floor of a 2-story house, so we're going to learn a lot together. This is the switch that I currently have. It runs to an outlet down on the other side of the wall, not this one here, but there's one a little further down the wall. So my first order of business is going to be to take this switch apart after I turn the power off, and I'm going to figure out where the Romex goes. I've got to figure out where my power is coming from and where it's going to, and then I know if I've got power in the ceiling or if it's running down to the baseboards and running its way over that outlet. Ultimately, I'm going to need to get 2 new runs of Romex because I'm running 2 branches off the circuit, up this wall, into the ceiling, and through the various floor joists to get around this room. Here's a really good tip for finding which circuit breaker is driving a circuit. Turn something on that makes a bunch of noise, like a radio, or so it has to be a plug-in radio. In this case, I'm going to use my shop vac. I'm going to turn the switch on, it's going to start running, and then when I'm on the other side of the house trying to find which breaker it is, I can hear when the vacuum turns off. Now again, this video is not supposed to be theory, but one thing I want to touch on really quick so you understand what's happening here if you've never done this before. And also, if you've never done this before, get help or watch more videos, but honestly, you have to be careful with electricity. So again, the hot comes into this wire nut and goes into this lug. Now the switch basically opens and closes this hot connection, and this hot comes out and back up the wall to the receptacle. Now, the reason you don't see any neutral in here is because all of the neutrals have been bonded together through this wire nut. So this is the proper way to wire a switch. This is a, more or less call it a load breaking switch. There's no neutral playing on this switch, it's only switched hot. Okay, I've put this box on backwards, and I'm going to kind of trace the outline of it, because what I need to do now is I need to cut the wall open to the left of my existing switch, and I need to do my best to get the old switch box, the old junction box, I need it out of that spot. So generally they're nailed to a stud, which I'm going to guess is here, but I don't have to guess, I have a stud finder. And then I'm going to extend the hole out so that I can drop my new junction box in there. But it's also nice to have this extra space because you're going to need to fish wires up this wall, and having this much space is nice. Okay, I've switched to a fine plunge cutting wood bit to just get this little piece of wood out of my way. And then I might get a mirror in there to see what's up the wall. Well, I wiggled this back and forth to pull it out, and the nails came free pretty easily, but I should tell you, it's always a good idea to wear gloves, because as I was kind of yanking on that, it popped out unexpectedly, and I got a pretty good bite out of my thumb on that piece of wood that I just cut out, so it got its vengeance on me. Anyways, I'm bandaged up, and I am back in action. So just to run a quick check of what I'm up to here, this was the switched receptacle. I think by California standards, this receptacle should have been upside down to indicate it was switched. It appears to be the only thing coming off that switch. So I actually think what I'm going to do is hook what used to be the switched power up to the constant power I had so that this just becomes a regular old receptacle. And then all my switched power is going to go up into the ceiling for my recessed lights. So I'll show you what that means in a minute, but basically this black lead was the black lead that was coming off the switch on the junction box that I just took out. Okay, so what's happening isn't that consequential because I'm running 2 new branches off the circuit, so I can kind of do whatever I want. But what I need to do is I need to get 2 new Romex runs all the way up this wall, and I need to get them into the ceiling right here. Now, I've done a little bit of research and I found that my ceiling joists, or my floor joists, go, in line with this wall. So I've got to drill through them this way. Now, I'm fortunate because here's my HVAC closet, and there happens to be a nice gap right here. And what I can see there are the feed power and the constant power Romex. And then right above them, up there, is my floor joist. So I think I can drill through from the other side and feed my Romex into that floor joist and get my run going across the ceiling. Now, if you didn't have this situation that I have, what you'd have to do is you'd have to drill, or you'd have to cut an opening in the top of your wall below the ceiling so that you could get through the header, and then you would need to do what I'm still gonna have to do, which is cut a hole in the ceiling up here and drill through your floor joist. I'm also gonna have to turn around and I'm gonna have to drill that way too. So I have to think carefully about where I put that hole to make sure I can get my drill to go both ways. All right, I've taken my stud finder to the ceiling and I've marked all of the floor joists along the route that I need to drill. There is some blocking that I've marked here that will cause me maybe a little trouble. So this is some blocking, here's some blocking. Those are the little pieces. I'm gonna have to get through those to make it to the other side. I've marked the joists on each side of the other recessed lighting can hole. And now I need to start planning my drywall cuts. All right, time to cut a hole for a recessed light there. 3. Shake it off. All right, now drill through all these joists. This tool.
Yeah. So what do you want to do?
Okay, there's one. There's 2.
Oh, Daddy, you're going good over there.
That should take me into the broom closet. Hey-o, I'm in.
Yay!
Daddy, look what it's doing.
Okay, it was a huge work day today. Had a buddy come over and help me fish some wires. We used the flex bit, it's a Klein tool, to drill through all the joists and get into that HVAC closet down the wall to the switch. We ran Romex, 2 runs of Romex through the ceiling to this hole, and then we turned. We ran them to that hole and beyond, and then one more pass to here. So now I'm going to climb up and I'm going to start wiring up all the cans. Fish your wires into your junction box. Snap the strain relief in place. This is the part where this manufacturer's made it so easy. You just match color for color and plug them into these little quick release clips. Super easy. I did find that taking the strain relief bushings off, putting them into the junction box first and then feeding your Romex in is the best way to go. So the next step is to snap the cover on and pop these little brackets into place. I've been having a lot of trouble getting these clips to pop in place once they're in the ceiling, and I saw a video which I'll try to find again and post in the link below of how to deal with that. So what they recommend here is to pop this clip out of place, grab a screwdriver and basically open up this slot towards the inside to give the clip a little more space to pop in there, and maybe even pop it out a little bit. Do that to all 4 clips and then they definitely pop into place a lot easier. Alrighty, now it's time to feed all these wires into the junction box and start finishing my installation. So what I've done is I've punched out all of the strain relief access points in this box. I'm going to feed all this Romex into the box, pull it through, set the box in the wall, and then I'll start wiring receptacles. And tighten. I know that gap looks a little big, and it is, so we'll have to put an enlarged wall plate on there to cover that up. Alright, now it's time to go through and strip anything that needs to get stripped. So again, auto strippers are awesome. Rats. One is out. I've done a lot of these, and this is the only time this has ever happened. Let me show you how to get it. Okay, you can't see it, but there's a little gap here. And you get your pliers. This is hard to do one hand, and you squeeze down until it comes down. And then you get your screwdriver in there, pop that out, all 4 of them. So there's the culprit. I've never run into this before. But these connectors didn't hold the neutral. So that little loose neutral was causing all my trouble. Anyways, push these connectors in real good before you button these up. And here's the finished product with all my lighting on. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to check out the other 3 videos in this series.